Welcome to the weekly Digital Health Podcast by Whitecoat Hackers Media. Get ready to dive deep with us into the latest news and developments shaping this really dynamic space pulled right from the sources you've shared.
That's right. And this week, we've got quite a mix, actually. We're looking at, new medical device funding, AI in imaging, and prediction spreading globally, and some pretty significant integrations happening in virtual care and pharmacy.
Yeah, lots to cover. Our mission, like always, is to cut through the noise. We'll unpack these updates, find those key nuggets, and figure out what it all really means for, the digital health landscape you're navigating. Let's jump right in.
Okay.
So first up, something that caught my eye in the oncology space. There's this company, Portal Access, focused on devices for cancer patients. They've just locked down some pretty serious funding.
They did, yeah. A $7 million Series A round.
And what's really interesting is who is leading the investment here. The sources say over 80% of this round. It came from U.S. physician investors.
Right.
We're talking oncologists, interventional radiologists, cardiologists, vascular surgeons, plus an unnamed U.S. VC fund.
And that mixes, well, it's pretty notable. When you see the actual clinicians, the people on the front lines, investing like this,
Yeah.
It really says something about the need they see, the potential value. It's a strong signal, validation from the field.
Definitely. So what is it exactly they've built that's getting this kind of attention from doctors?
Okay, so they make a device called Flexi-Port SLF-TANL. It's basically a subcutaneous port, a little device under the skin, designed to make vascular access easier for oncology patients, like for chemo.
Ah, okay. Vascular access, that's huge for cancer patients, right? It can be a real headache, lots of complications sometimes.
Exactly.
So they've got the money, they've got the device. What are the next steps?
Well, the funds are specifically earmarked for their FDA 510K submission.
Right, the standard regulatory path.
Yep. They're expecting to file that around July 2025.
And assuming the FDA gives the green light.
Then they're looking at a U.S. market launch sometime in 2026.
And the company's talking up the benefits, naturally. They're saying it might help minimize treatment delays, procedural risks, even total healthcare costs. Engineered for simplicity, stability, scalability, aiming for better workflows, and, of course, patient outcomes and experience.
And those points are really crucial because getting consistent, easy vascular access without complications, that's fundamental for good cancer care.
Right.
Any improvement that cuts down delays or risks, it makes a big difference for the patient's journey and, frankly, for the clinic's efficiency, too. And that focus on simplicity and workflow, that's key for busy practices.
It really highlights the problem they're tackling. And that physician investment we mentioned, it just tells you clinicians are actively looking for better tools right here.
Absolutely.
Now, the sources also give us a bit of a wider picture of other tech activity in oncology. It's pretty diverse out there.
Oh, yeah. It's not just devices. It's data, AI, streamlining workflows, all sorts of things.
Like, we saw Atropos Health teaming up with Ontada, that's part of McKesson, connected to the U.S. Oncology Network. They're focusing on using real-time data and insights from community oncology settings, trying to speed up research, basically.
Right, tapping into that real-world data, trying to get insights faster from, actual clinical practice. It informs research relevant to everyday care.
And then there's ConcertAI working with Bayer, using AI and data platforms for precision oncology. The sources mention analyzing data from, over 9 million anonymized cancer patient records? Through CancerLink.
Yeah, huge data sets. And the idea is to use AI to potentially speed up clinical trials, drug development, maybe even personalized treatments based on what they learn from all that data.
It shows how these massive curated data sets plus AI are becoming vital tools, not just for treating patients now, but for discovering new treatments.
Exactly. Accelerating the whole development pipeline.
And one more. Flatiron Health, collaborating with NRG Oncology, part of the NCI's Clinical Trials Network. They're rolling out something called Flatiron Clinical Pipe.
Ah, yeah, the EHR to EDDC connector. Explain that a bit.
Sure. EHR is the electronic health record, where all the patient info lives day to day. EDC is electronic data capture, the system used specifically for clinical trials. This tool just connects them directly, automates the data flow.
And the point of that is?
To make research easier, really, less manual data entry. By pulling data from the patient's charts straight into the trial system, it boosts efficiency and cuts down the workload for the trial sites. That administrative burden can be a huge barrier.
So it's fascinating. We're seeing tech hit oncology from all angles. There's the physical device for treatment delivery, AI chewing through massive data sets for discovery, and tools to just smooth out the nuts and bolts of running clinical trials.
It's the whole spectrum, yeah. Tech for treatment, but also tech for improving how we research and develop treatments.
Okay, let's switch gears now. Let's look at some really interesting global expansion, particularly with imaging AI companies coming out of South Korea.
Yeah, this is where AI really seems to be moving beyond just pilots. We're seeing national-level deals, big pharma partnerships. Coreline Soft is a prime example. They've landed multiple big contracts internationally. First time ever, they got a contract with the UK's National Health Service, the NHS.
That's huge.
They'll be providing their AVUW software for this Eastern Diagnostic Imaging Network project. It's a group of NHS trusts working together.
And AVUWE is going into 12 hospitals there, including Cambridge University Hospital, which is obviously a major name, using it for health screening and general CT scans. Landing an NHS contract like that, I mean, it's a massive vote of confidence for large-scale deployment.
And they didn't stop in the UK. They were also picked as the exclusive AI provider for France's national lung cancer screening project.
Exclusive provider for a national program. Again, that speaks volumes. The host hospitals are big ones, too. Assistance Public-Hôpitaux de Paris and Lyon City Hospital, serious players.
Shows a lot of trust in their AI for something as critical as nationwide early cancer detection. And then there's another contract, this time with Boehringer Ingelheim in Taiwan. Here, they're providing a specific AI module to hospitals that identifies lung deformation patterns.
And the interesting part here is how it's being used. It's part of a program testing antifibrotic drugs, like Oshev and nerandomilast. The AI basically flags relevant findings on chest CT scans and links that analysis report straight into the hospital's image systems, the PCS and RS, almost in real time.
And connecting to PASI helps how? Exactly.
It speeds things up dramatically. It helps clinicians quickly spot patients with certain lung conditions, like interstitial lung disease, who might be good candidates for these specific clinical trials. So it's using imaging AI, not just for diagnosis, but to accelerate finding and recruiting patients for drug trials. That's a really powerful application.
You mentioned AVUW can do several things. What did the sources say about its capabilities for those UK and French screening programs?
Right, for the lung cancer screening context, AVUW is apparently designed to spot multiple things on one chest CT. It looks for pulmonary nodules, obviously, but also emphysema and even coronary artery calcification.
Wow.
So it's giving a broader picture of lung and heart health from just one scan, not only looking for cancer signs.
That's pretty impressive, getting these deals with national health systems, big pharma. It really feels like AI is moving into the mainstream clinically and for research. And that multi-finding capability adds a lot of value.
It shows the tech is maturing and it's meeting the regulatory bars needed for wider adoption.
Speaking of regulations, other Korean AI firms are also hitting major milestones there.
Which is absolutely crucial, right? Regulatory approval is the gatekeeper for scaling these things.
Totally. So VUNO is another name. They just got the EU's MDR certification and the UK's CA mark for their main AI tool.
And what does that tool do?
It's focused on predicting cardiac arrest risk within hospitals.
Okay, that's a very high-stakes application. Huge implications for patient safety.
Apparently, it's already used quite a bit in South Korea, over 130 hospitals. And what about the U.S.?
It's still pending FDA clearance, but significantly, it got the FDA's breakthrough device designation back in 2023. That designation can sometimes help speed up the review for tech addressing serious conditions.
And they're looking beyond that, too.
Yeah, planning expansion into the Middle East, aiming for certifications this year, hoping to supply there next year.
Getting approvals in the EU, UK, the U.S. breakthrough status. It shows they're successfully navigating these really complex, different regulatory landscapes.
It demonstrates they're meeting tough safety and performance standards across the board.
Then there's AITRICS. They just received medical device approval in Hong Kong.
Right, and their approach is a bit different. They're not analyzing images. They analyze data from the electronic medical record, the EMR.
Okay, so patient chart data, what do they do with it?
They use it to predict a patient's risk of major adverse events, serious stuff like sepsis, cardiac arrest, needing an ICU transfer, even death within the next 4 to 6 hours.
Predicting those kinds of critical events hours ahead, just using existing EMR data, that sounds potentially game-changing for intervening earlier.
It really does. And this Hong Kong approval is their fourth, apparently. They already have it in South Korea, the U.S., and Vietnam.
So summing this part up, we're seeing AI move beyond just reading scans. It's getting into predictive analytics, using real-time patient data from the EMR to flag these really acute, dangerous situations.
Exactly. It makes you wonder how these AI early warning systems might change hospital monitoring, how resources get deployed. It's a big shift.
Okay, let's pivot again. Moving from the sort of deep clinical tech to patient access and experience, looking at some interesting integrations in virtual care.
Right, connecting the dots for the patient's journey.
Talkspace, the virtual therapy provider, is integrated with Amazon Pharmacy. What does that actually mean for someone using Talkspace?
But pretty straightforward, actually. If your Talkspace therapist or psychiatrist prescribes medication, you can now choose to have it filled through Amazon Pharmacy, and they offer free home delivery.
So it just smooths out that step.
Essentially, yes. New members, returning members, they get Amazon Pharmacy as an option. If they select it, the provider sends the script there electronically, just trying to remove some friction in getting meds.
The sources also mentioned a related Amazon feature. Apparently, if you're just shopping on Amazon, you can use their Health Benefits Connector site to check if your insurance covers Talkspace therapy or psychiatry.
Which points to Amazon's bigger play, right?
Yeah.
Integrating health service access and benefit checks right into their main platform where millions already are, making it easier for their users to find and use health services.
Talkspace had a good quote, summing it up. Psychiatric medication is most effective when paired with therapy. And this integration with Amazon Pharmacy allows us to deliver truly comprehensive care, all in one streamlined experience. And Amazon Pharmacy's VP echoed that, saying they want to make getting meds easier and more affordable.
Yeah, look, this integration feels like a significant step. It merges the care delivery, the therapy, the prescribing directly with the medication fulfillment. And it really highlights that clinical point. Meds often work best alongside therapy for mental health.
Yeah, thinking about it from the patient's angle, linking therapy and meds like this could really simplify things, couldn't it? Fewer hoops to jump through, especially if getting out is tough. And it kind of reinforces that combined approach is the goal.
Absolutely. Reduces those logistical barriers.
Now, zooming out slightly, the sources show this Amazon deal isn't Talkspace's only partnership move. They've been quite active on this front.
Oh, yeah. They're definitely playing the partnership game to expand their reach.
Like, earlier this month, they partnered with Bark Technologies. That's a platform focused on kids' online safety. They're offering free mental health services to Bark users, connecting kids with therapists, providing self-help resources.
That's a clever way to reach young people and their parents, tapping into a platform they already trust for safety issues.
And then back in 2024, a partnership with Wisdo Health that's more of a social health peer support platform. This one was specifically aimed at people over 65, focusing on loneliness, trying to boost access and engagement for older adults.
Right, another distinct strategy. Targeting a different demographic with a different model, peer support for loneliness, addressing specific needs in that older age group.
Also in 2024, remember they partnered with Amazon Health Services initially, before the full pharmacy integration. That was more about helping Amazon shoppers find Talkspace if they search for things like therapy or stress relief.
Yeah, that feels like the top of funnel piece, right?
Yep.
Making discovery easier for people already on Amazon showing interest in mental health. Then the pharmacy integration handles the fulfillment later.
And speaking of pharmacies and related players, the sources also mentioned a deal back in May between Amazon Pharmacy and ServeYouRx, which is a PBM, a pharmacy benefit manager, offering home delivery for maintenance meds to ServeYouRx members. Plus, Amazon Pharmacy itself expanded same-day delivery in places like NYC and LA last year for common chronic meds.
So you put all these partnerships together. Talkspace is clearly trying to reach different groups, kids, seniors, general consumers, through platforms they're already on. And they're integrating with key players like Amazon PBMs to get deeper into healthcare system.
And from the other side, it really signals Amazon's intent, doesn't it? They're moving well beyond just being an online pharmacy, building multiple doorways into healthcare.
For sure. It really raises that question for all digital health companies. How crucial are these partnerships and integrations going to be? Teaming up with tech giants, PBMs, provider networks seems essential to really scale and become part of the fabric of healthcare.
Wow, okay. We really covered a lot of ground today in this deep dive. We looked at that new oncology device getting physician backing, AI's global spread in imaging and prediction, and these major integrations in virtual care, especially linking mental health and pharmacy with players like Talkspace and Amazon.
Yeah, some clear themes emerged, I think. The drive for specific solutions, hitting real pain points, the absolute necessity of clearing those regulatory hurdles globally, and the power, maybe even the requirement of partnerships to reach people and integrate into the existing complex system. It all points towards more connected, hopefully more seamless digital health down the road.
So here's a final thought to chew on, building on all this. Think about how these different pieces happen. The better port, the AI reading scans and predicting crises, the integrated virtual therapy with meds delivered to your door aren't just separate cool things. They represent tech getting embedded at really specific, critical points in care. What happens when these points start connecting more directly? Could we see a future where the device data feeds the AI insights inform the virtual consult, and the outcome seamlessly links to pharmacy delivery? What does that truly end-to-end tech-enabled experience look like if these innovations converge even further?
That potential convergence.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's maybe the most fascinating and probably challenging thing to watch unfold in the next few years.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the latest in digital health, based on the sources you shared.
Always great to talk through these developments.
And if you want to keep getting these deep dives into what's happening in the world of digital health, please do subscribe to the White Coat Hackers channel in YouTube. We'll catch you next time.